Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Mental Mastery Alliance podcast. If what you are going to be doing had heard my previous podcast, and if you're a staunch listener, you know that I did that about 10 minutes ago because I had to vent. Somebody changed my intro to this one as well. Can you believe it? The bastards. Now, I am thoroughly excited today because for the first time in a very, very long time, I was going to save this for my 100th episode, and we probably will have them back for the 100th episode. Today, ladies and gentlemen, I have two very good and two very old friends. When I say old, I mean these guys are old. Old men friends. We got Brandon Hanley. We got Jeremy Todd with us. This is one hell of a show, and I'm going to unmute these guys. I'm going to bring these guys in. Brandon's still making a lot of noise. I can see that. He seems to be in a small room, so ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please allow me to reintroduce, bring back to the show, bring back to the Mental Mastery Alliance, two of the greatest people on the planet, Jeremy and Brandon. How's it going, boys?
What up? What up?
What's going on, man? I don't know about old, but I do agree with some of the greatest people on the planet. There's no denying that. There's no denying.
Into your closet or something?
What's that?
Did you move into your closet?
This is the basement. I actually moved down to the basement underneath the east wing.
Your bomb shelter / quarantine?
Yeah, he's in the COVID hut right now.
Prepper.
Listen, I got one kid's up there playing Fortnite, the other one's up there doing like battles, and the other room that I usually do it out of, dude, I've been in there like every day for work, right? And it's like, you got to change the scenery. You got to change the scenery. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
So I'm downstairs. I am in the COVID-19 hot room, and we're doing it.
It's good to see you're alive, brother.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the only one of us that's essential is Jeremy, so he's got trucks to sell. And us, we're just useless over here.
Nothing says essential like selling some cars, right?
Hey, man,
Whatever.
Get a truck for this shit, right?
Whatever, I guess.
Jeremy Todd, ladies and gentlemen, is giving away free trucks to the first person that knows his favorite color and phones in. Sadly, we don't have the phone lines open, and he doesn't like colors, so that's the end of that.
My color changes on the minute.
You're fucked. Hey, listen, before we even get going, I got a softball right here for Adam and Jeremy, but I bet you 99% of your listeners definitely know you guys are familiar with this book, Flow. Familiar?
I'm not.
No.
Are you fucking kidding me?
You pull out this weird shit.
5%.
You expect me to know about?
Okay. So Flow is like,
it's all about menstrual cycles, is it?
Oh, what a guy, huh? So Flow is basically the state of mind that you get into, like when everything's just kind of like in stasis and you are at your absolute best. And so this is a psychologist who studied that for about 25 years, right? So he studied it for like 25 years and figured out, hey, like, when you are at your best, so, you like, for example, when you're hosting a podcast, Adam, when you're hosting a podcast, Jeremy, like time kind of stops, and it's like there's like this awesome time that you're having, and you're just feeling like what you're giving the world is your absolute best. Am I right?
Well, that's how I live every minute of my life. I give everybody everything all the time. I'm the greatest. High five. I five myself.
Fair enough. But so I was reading this last night, and he's talking about happiness, right? Because the first chapter is kind of dedicated to happiness and everybody and their chase for happiness. And he starts talking about socialization in society, and here we have exactly where we are kind of right now, and everything that's kind of closing in around us. And so it goes, socialization, or the transformation of a human organism into a person who functions successfully within a particular social system, cannot be avoided. The essence of socialization is to make people dependent on social controls to have them respond predictably to rewards and punishments. And the most effective form of socialization is achieved when people identify so thoroughly with the social order that they can no longer imagine themselves breaking any of its rules. That's it, man. How does that strike you? Because look, I know that's what you voice all the time. Both of you guys voice this stuff, but how does it feel to say, hey, this is well documented, right? And here it is, right here in the psychology of optimal experience.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, thoughts?
I have a few thoughts on that, and it's this is one of those things where I do preach. I preach this message.
Mm-hmm.
Every single shill out there that's sucked into the system. Every single person that's not listening to this podcast, that's watching the television, well, what the hell's going to happen, right? They get angry. They get angry when they listen to me talk, for example, or when they hear an opinion on this stuff. And I have a lot of opinions, especially on this topic. I mean, 2-3 weeks ago, I was a conspiracy theorist, and right now people are coming to me for answers. So it's an interesting time to be alive for sure. What you wrote, you didn't write that. I don't think that was you.
No, that'd be a lot cooler if I did.
Be a lot cooler if you did. But what you read there was accurate. Every single person's like, here's the biggest cliche to this. You said people will, like, it's like the Matrix quoted, people are so wrapped up in the Matrix that they will defend it, right? We have a total lockdown up here in the Great White North. The essential services are getting fewer and fewer, dwindling away. You can't go out. You can't go out in public places. You can't go on hiking trails. They're all locked down. You can't be in parks, public playgrounds, or groups larger than 5. So a 6-person family, one of you is out. Now,
you're off the island.
That's right. Beat it. So this is the rule. But what is open? Liquor stores. You can get your liquors, and you can get your marijuanas. You can get this shit because the government knows full well it's very hard to control a sober society. So what's the official story as to why these LCBOs, these liquor stores, this shit stays open? And now your favorite restaurant is legally allowed to deliver you booze. So you can punch in your Uber and be like, bring me some Jack Daniels as well, for Christ's sakes, because I'm disgusting and I can't go without alcohol. No offense to all you people drinking, but it's disgusting if you can't go without alcohol. So
listen. Here's my take on that, man.
No, let me finish. You jump in a little bit too much, but I do want to jump in there.
We've all been there.
I understand that, but the official story is, if we take alcohol away from Canadians, all of them will go into complete liver failure and overflow our hospitals, and our hospitals can't handle the aftermath of us pulling the alcohol. And people regurgitate that story as if it's fact. They're like, well, if you shut down the fucking booze, we can't die. People die. Everybody's an addict, right? It's lunacy that people will regurgitate that they'll be like, this is what I saw on TV, so it absolutely must be true. And I don't have time to think for myself or do any work or question this narrative. And if you have that kind of time, fuck you, you're a conspiracy theorist. Do as you're told, do not think.
I'm going to jump in here. It's interesting with this topic, and interesting with everything going on. And this is going to kind of tie a little bit what you were talking about, Brandon, earlier. But right now, the only thing that comes to my mind is just peace and tranquility. And I say that because there's so much madness out there.
Yes.
It almost seems like if COVID-19 is your religion, and I say religion not by like spiritual, I mean what you believe in. Maybe it's all a hoax. That's your religion. Maybe the liquor store, I mean, that's your religion. Whatever your religion is, people get so they're tied in and identify themselves with a specific cause.
Yes.
And there's a new cause all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's political parties. It was Republican, Democrat 3 months ago here in the States. It was sports teams. It's everything. And what I really enjoy right now, and I love it, is just because it's mass chaos right now. I mean, it is chaos right now. It's hilarious. And I have so much peace within myself that all I'm doing is just watching car crashes. Yeah. And to me, I think it's comical. Yep. I think it's comical. People get wrapped in so hard on this stuff.
Yep.
Yet they quit living their life. They quit going for their goals. They quit going for their dreams. Quit being individuals. The creativity goes away because we feel like we have to go into these masses. And again, I think this time is so unique. I think it's a time for creative people to step out of the shadows, to be the individual that you've always been. You don't have to go down this path, and it's so blatantly obvious of what either side you should be on, whatever side you want to be on.
There is no side.
You've got to be on a side.
Yeah.
I'm not
listen,
on
guys. Listen. It's easier for us to say that because we have gotten to a certain point in our lives, right? You take away people's jobs and you shut them in, and you shut them. The only thing that they're shut in with is media or podcasts or whatever. But they're kind of forced in. I'll one up on that as well. We had a rabid raccoon running around last night. We weren't even allowed to go outside. They're like, you got to stay inside. There's a rabid raccoon out. You're like, are you fucking kidding me?
Who told you it was rabid? Why
Who
couldn't it
cares?
just been a raccoon?
Listen, dude, listen. So, you know, but not everybody's there. So what happens is, you know, your mind goes into fear. Adam, I saw, you know, at least the you know, kind of the fear porn thing, you know, a lot of people are addicted to it, but when you get into like this kind of scarcity and fear mode, you're not thinking of creativity. You're thinking of survival without getting to where we have gotten to ourselves. Like each one of us has gotten there, and we're in different places in this space of, all right, well, exactly. Yeah, man. You know what? I can't work this week. I'm going to rewind this a little bit. Everybody that is in this right now, this worldwide thing, has gotten exactly what they asked for. Did you ever ask for more time at home?
Damn straight.
Did you ever ask for more time with your family?
Yep.
Did you ever wish that you didn't have to run around for all of your errands? Did you ever wish that, you know, so, and the other part of it too is like, we have been asking in industry after industry, well, we need disruption. We need industry disruption. Guess fucking what, everybody? Yep. You have gotten exactly what you asked for. Now, here's what happens when you make that ask. You don't know how it's going to show up. You make the ask and you don't know how it's going to show up, but it's here now, right? So like Jeremy said, you have this tremendous opportunity to take however long it is that you're cooped up at home. The government's going to keep you alive, man. Don't fucking freak out, man. You know what? You're going to be fed. You're going to live. This is happening at least in the United States of America during springtime when, hey, do you have any fucking seeds laying around your house? Go plant a garden. You know, you're in the best time, place in ever to now go out there and create, at least identify with what you think you'd be doing if you could be doing it out of your house right now, and start working on it. There's no reason why not.
And that to anyone that was listening to my show earlier, this will be simulcast, I'm sure, across all 3 platforms. But to anyone that listened to my show beforehand, this all falls in line with that. So the episode that I put up before this was Jeremy had said sides. You know, do you pick your side? It's total chaos. I'm kind of watching this. I'm enjoying this. That is the bottom line, because we have conspiracy theories that want to go, guys that want to talk about QAnon. This is the elite roundup. This is Adrenochrome. We have people that want to talk about 5G, how this is all 5G. My biggest concern is the empty hospitals. I'm curious about that. But everybody's fighting everybody. And I think that reality stays with regards to this. Jeremy hit the nail on the head, where this is weird. What we're going through is weird. And whatever side you're on, and whatever religion you've picked, and whatever uniform you've got on, you know, whether it's the COVID, whether it's the presidential, whether it's QAnon, whether it's 5G, whatever team you're supporting right now, we're all technically playing the same sport, and none of us have the answers. None of us have any answers. So the idea is, stop trying to ask the questions that involve shit that we don't know.
No, nobody's been through this before. That's the other. Listen, this is a level playing field. Guess what? This is everybody's fucking first time on this rodeo.
Welcome 100%. To this rodeo. All right. So,
you know, what worries me about this, though, and I know we joke around and say it, but what you know, being an outsider, what it really concerns me is how programmable masses are in general. Not a person, not one person. You know, so those people on the island that are kind of looking back, hey, this is kind of wild, but people can get changed so quick on a dime by what they watch in the news. The toilet paper rush. Holy shit. When you go out and buy every single toilet paper roll on the planet. I mean, it just shows you how programmable these people are. Everybody. Yeah. And that's what's scary. If something, this isn't, I mean, let's be honest. Yes, this is killing people. It isn't killing people, whatever side of the story you want to take. But if you have something seriously hit, like it kills 1 out of 2 people, what kind of pandemic does that? I mean, you talk about mass chaos. This is just, again, I'm not trying to justify, but people are getting sick. But however, I'm not trying to freak anybody out. People aren't dying it's not 1 out of 2.
Dropping like flies. No, but say 1 in 10, say if it was real, like say they unroll, whatever it is, say this was truly real, there wouldn't be people with plans in place. The government wouldn't be like, we've got it figured out, right?
Sure.
This would be, if this were real, everybody would be like you could bet dollars to donuts. The government would be like, you're on your own. We're out too. We got to take care of ourselves, right? Because you got Donald Trump preaching social distancing with 40 people standing side by side, shoulder to shoulder behind him. You know, it's all a show. It's regardless of what you want, it's all a show. There is something going on. There is a bigger picture to it. I believe it to be white hats. And on a side note,
what does that mean?
I'll explain that in a second.
Please do.
Oh, it's gonna be good. I can't wait for white hats.
White
I got an idea.
I've never even heard of the Adrenochrome thing too. So I mean, you know, I'm just over here playing like
my audience has definitely heard of the Adrenochrome. Ladies and gentlemen,
I'm sure they have.
Ladies and gentlemen, on Jeremy Todd's positive side, may not have heard about the Adrenochrome.
But... Well, maybe not. Maybe not. They have now.
I'm still you guys have never seriously heard the book Flow?
Not yet, but I'll probably pick it up because that
I'm sure I'll
caught
get
my attention with that.
My mailbox here soon. Brandon Hanley, come on back.
Oh my God,
fire it up. So what was I saying? White hats, right? So prior to that, you had mentioned I sent you the link because I had a little fun with the intro, or somebody did, those bastards. And I had to look up the picture, fear porn. like whatever. That's what I did for the this is my work computer, right? So I punched in fear porn to grab a picture just to throw in as like the thumbnail. What the fuck? You should see. And why was it all the Simpsons? It was just the Simpsons with dicks. That's what came back as fear porn. And this was the image search. It was like the Simpsons and Family Guy and all the chicks had dicks and it was fear porn.
Well, that's pretty scary.
It was weird. I'm like, what am I looking at?
Imagery at him?
Because fear porn isn't porn, but now you all have to think about what I saw, which was the Simpsons with penises, big veiny ones.
Great.
That's wonderful.
Yes, it is. And I'm, even if I'm animated right now. And if I jack this and put this into the YouTube with my hands going all over the place, Jesus.
You do that.
So white hat, ladies and gentlemen, for the positive prosperity practice and all of those,
everybody in the room.
For the simulcasted, white hat is a good hack. So black hats are people that are hacking your internet or hacking this, that, and the other thing for the purposes of malicious intent. A white hack is somebody who, for example, hacks into a credit card company and wipes out everybody's debt. The powers that be don't care much for white hackers because they tend to do good. So they help the public and screw out, the big guy. But if you say anything against the government, you're a bad guy. So it's the government's way and the indoctrination. If you think for yourself, you're a criminal. And the border patrols and everything going up there are, this is what we're having right now is the Grand Awakening. So the white hats are poking this. I firmly believe. And I say that because you can Google anything you want now. Yeah. And shit shows up. The celebs, done for. Ellen DeGeneres, Adrenochrome, done for. They'll never be back on TV.
I don't even know what that is.
Sneak Ellen DeGeneres in there. I mean,
seriously. But
she's done. If you guys don't know this, to all your audience, I love that this is being simulcast, by the way. But to all your audiences, Ellen DeGeneres will never be back on television, and that's something that you guys can just go ahead and freely look up all on your own. Don't do it with kids in the room.
So
I love that.
Dude, but so this happens, I think, every generation now. We had it happen in the 20s, we had it happen in the 50s and 70s and the wars. There's something like I think every generation goes through something kind of big or world disruptive, right? We had world wars, we've had diseases and pestilence going throughout before. While this is our first time, it's not the first time that a government has faced it. So why wouldn't they, just playing devil's advocate, have some type of plan in place?
They have a plan in place.
I'm just saying, man.
If you want to create the best way to predict the future is to create it.
100%.
So, the fact that sorry, Americans are getting $1,200. Here you go. Have some money.
How much you guys? You guys are getting like a ton.
Oh my God. They rolled out immediately within like 3 days. They're like, we're at $82 billion. Like, who the fuck?
And all $82 billion is going to every single person, right?
Yeah. $82 billion. And then, but here's the thing. There's no more crime. The news isn't reporting mass shootings and the news isn't reporting this, that, and the other thing. The mouthy feminists aren't trying to burn people down. There's none of this chaos. There's none of this dissension on the news. I don't know if people are still out there trying to, carry pitchforks and all that sort of stuff, but None of this is on the news. And this was on the news, and people sit at their homes individually and they watch the news and they're like, I hate that person. I hate that person. I can't believe that was a thing. Blah, blah, blah. There's no more break-ins. There's no more shootings. There's no more nothing. It's all just COVID. Right. And then all of a sudden, you know, the news is just broadcasting. Everybody thinks on grand scales. They don't realize that it's just you. It's you and the television. What you see them do, you then assume the whole world is doing, or the whole world is thinking. And then you just assume that everything is the same as you. But it ain't. That's how it's so easy to manipulate the entire world. The television was put in your house for the sole purpose of telling you a vision while programming you. And that's why it exists. It's there for a reason. It is a propaganda machine. And you're like, but it's shiny and it's expensive and you have to work hard to afford one. That's all a ploy too. So, you know, we can go on and on and on about all this sort of stuff, but at the end of the day,
but that's exactly how I started off the conversation though. You've got to, have a society that acts and reacts, according to, your kind of grand design. Yeah. Right. And I mean, that's what the book ends up ultimately kind of talking about though, is like, you know, breaking through that, getting past that programming. But, again, you know, it's so thoroughly that that they can no longer imagine themselves breaking any of its rules. I mean, dude, we're already there, and it's like, you know, the French people. It's
always the French.
Well, no, it's not. It's like even in Buddhism, right? Like I was having a conversation the other day. Is even in Buddhism, right? And you go off in a monastery and you work with Buddhists. They still have their rules and whatnot in place, just so that they can keep that pocket safe for themselves, right? Like, so it's like the three of us kind of have this little pocket of bubble of like understanding, right, of each other and our current world views, and we're comfortable with that. But not everybody's comfortable with hearing that, right? And if you have this conversation out of you were saying like you've got people calling you like I don't even know, conspiracy theorists.
I can give you an example of that for sure. What you're talking about. There we have had the opportunity and the luxury to essentially pick and choose what we are going to do. I mean, Brandon, you've taken some major swings in life and you've taken some huge chances, but you've generally followed your heart, because you've always quasi thought outside the box. You never really bought too much into the main story. Jeremy, you're the same. You've been a lone wolf, a powerhouse, you know, your entire life, your entire career.
It's a howl, Jeremy.
Yeah, there it is. And
I got something.
There you go. And this is an opportunity again for us to, you are kismet. You do find your own energy in everything, especially in people. So the three of us can have these conversations. But I do have clients that very firmly identify with their BMW and their fancy suit and their 2-bedroom condo downtown and their job and their title, and right now they're losing their effing minds.
Yeah, you look. I mean,
so guys like us can sit here and poke fun at it, but there is a massive population out there that is going batshit right now with the television on.
I don't think it's funny. I don't think it's funny.
Well, let me tell you with both what you guys are saying, but one thing that is extremely confusing, and one thing that I know for sure is that I don't know anything. Yeah, and I think what we try and do is we try and I don't know nothing about nothing. I really don't. And I think about stuff and think about stuff. And
I used to think I knew shit, but then I started asking questions. I really don't know. Fuck off.
I don't know anything. And then that's even scary because I need to know more about what I don't know about. And that
hurts. Yeah.
It's just a strange thing. And then if I have an opinion, then you almost feel like you got to pick sides and you get smashed. And life right now, and I don't know what the answer is. And again, I don't know if the answer to life is just to not ever figure anything out, to constantly continue to learn. Because I think when we put something on it, I'm going to figure out this.
Knowledge, I think, gets in the way of education.
So much more.
If you know something, you'll stop looking into it.
I don't know shit. Yeah. I really don't.
But
I try.
Think about it. Think about it. Our late 20s, or especially our teens, and then our late 20s, and then our early 30s. Like, we had it figured out. And then like halfway through 30, you're like, son of a bitch.
Well, I just love all these people that are pros. Everybody's a COVID-19 pro. How you can get it, how you can't get it. And these people come out of the woodwork. They're buddies. They're bar friends. They're people I work with. They're all pros. How do you know so much about this? I mean, you don't know shit. and all you know is what you're regurgitating. You don't know shit.
Yeah, but you talk like you do.
told by whatever you've watched or listened to.
And that's
no
funny
one
too,
knows
because
shit.
that stems from, like, I mean, even that, like, that's a mentality for everything. I mean, you guys are in the coaching industry. I'm in the coaching industry. And there are so many people out there right now that are like, hey, I know how to help you. You don't even fucking know who I am. Like, don't come at me, or don't hit me up with the DMs like I know how to help you. You know, this is one of those things where it's like people are talking out their ass about COVID, and
nobody's been through it before.
And it always pissed me off too, because the coaches out there's so many coaches out there going, I'm going to help you. Right? These people don't understand that you don't walk up to me and fucking help me.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like, somebody sniffs around you, that you get an introduction, you know a guy who knows a guy, you meet somebody, you interview a bunch of coaches, and you're like, maybe I want to work with you, maybe I like your kismet, this is kind of what I want to do. Are you in line with this? You know, but these coaches right now are like, this is what you have to do to succeed. And it's all fuckery. And it's the same with virtually, that is just a one microcosm of everything that's out there. And there are people out there, like you said, that are like, this is what COVID is. And then somebody off in the distance is like, wow, that's what it is, eh? And then they go off and they talk like it's fact. And all this misinformation is spread around. And the people that initially started this misinformation, they're like, everyone's dying from COVID, but nobody checks their Facebook. In other words, like, we should know at least one person who's on Facebook being like, this fucking sucks. This cold sucks. This COVID sucks. Right? There isn't that one person on Facebook. There's just story after story after story about a guy who knew a guy who knew a guy. So regardless of how you look at it, the numbers are a bit askew. Now, aside from all that bullshit, something is massively happening. So you can't look at any one thing and be like, here are the answers to COVID, because COVID is the distraction. So what the fuck is really going on? You know, because something is going on. And if you take away all the government, and if you take away all the conspiracy, and if you take away all the everything, you're left with you and the situation. And then you're left with the ability to say, how am I going to specifically handle this situation based on the information that I think, I feel, I connect with, and what's in front of me? And that is how people navigate through this. And the people that watch the TV have all the toilet paper. The people that are thinking for themselves have it figured out, or are starting to figure it out for themselves.
Not for nothing. I hate to, you know, make fun, but I already had like a stockpile of toilet paper, and you know,
that guy, yeah,
and a bidet. I mean, so I was prepped for this.
You prepper.
Born to do it.
He's actually recording from the bidet right now. It's
that's right.
Both of us.
That's right.
That's what took us so long, right? Well, you know, it's interesting too with the toilet paper and the thing like that. Again, it shows you how attached we are to society. And I'm not trying to, you know, I love my minimalist lifestyle, but all I thought, Captain, this sounds so stupid, and this really has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but that's okay. I just thought if I ran out of toilet paper, I would just go back to basics and maybe use a washcloth. I don't know. I mean, call me crazy if I can and that just shows you how tight we are into this society where we got to have everything spoon fed. If our toilet paper goes away, oh my God, it's the end of the world. What am I going to do? We're going to figure it out.
You know,
I mean,
really
I'm sorry,
amazing?
It's not that big of a deal.
It'd be really amazing right now, like in this epidemic. Just go, like, it'd be an awesome flex to just go and toilet paper somebody's house.
Oh,
gangster, wouldn't it? Oh,
is that like flashing? Is that like flashing? You know, your gold chain.
A great idea,
right? Flashing your bling.
Oh man,
I got so much. I'm just throwing it.
Like lighting money on fire, isn't
it? It's true though that we've got all these things. I only think, how long have we even had toilet paper for? Like probably only 100 years. Not even. Not even 100 years.
Here's the real question: who the fuck started that chaos?
I don't
know,
man.
Everyone's sick from COVID. Oh, you got the flu? That's it. I'm buying all the toilet paper.
Yeah, I remember somebody saying like, this is like a cough and a respiratory thing. I don't recall anyone having like a diarrhea or anything like that.
No.
Well, I'm going to go back to this again, and this is what I wanted to start the conversation with today, and I started talking about it a little bit, and I know it's all the hippie talk of me coming out, but I just think this is an opportunity for peace. I say that, and I know that word has been overplayed and overused, but it is a time for peace. And what worries me is when you have these people locked down, when we think about, hey, this is a time to get the opportunity to get to know your kids again, instead of getting them off iPads and iPhones and you know, video games. What my concern is also for that is while we're locking these people down, you're having people locked in with abusers, you know, getting the shit kicked out of each other constantly. That's the kids
too,
get yelled at constantly, and they can't leave.
Yeah.
So my thought constantly goes to peace. I think about these people all the time about how
you can leave if you're getting your ass kicked. You can leave.
if you're a 9-year-old kid, a
Yeah, you
6-year-old
can't.
kid
Yeah.
getting your parents beating the shit
Yeah.
out of you, you know, it's just, and they're locked into their house. But again, I think about that, and I think about how grateful I am with my friends and my family. And
ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening to this show right now and you're beating your 9-year-old child, could you do me a favor and call in? Just, you don't have to say much. Just leave a message.
Yeah, right.
Your email address would be all right. Your home address would be fine too. We just want to talk. We just want to talk.
Easy conversation. But again, I think it just goes back to peace and peace and love. And I think it's just, we need it more now than ever. There's so much negativity. You turn anything on and it's negativity right in your face. People dying. It's mass chaos, fighting over toilet paper, fighting over restaurants. We just need to sit back, relax, enjoy our life the way it is, because we're on here on this planet for a tiny, tiny, tiny drop of time. Mm-hmm. And we're fighting over bullshit like this. And that's what worries me more than anything. We should be a time of getting to know each other.
And people will say, you can say that. You've already got a ton of toilet paper.
Yeah, exactly.
Relax society, relax.
No matter what you say, someone's going to tell you you're full of shit and you're an asshole.
Yeah, that's right.
Whatever.
Back to toilet paper, full of shit and an asshole.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, Jeremy, I love it though, because somebody else posted today, there was a beach, I don't know exactly which one it is, but like, since it wasn't being like overrun by people, it was being overrun by all the turtles being born. And I thought that was really cool too, because that wouldn't really be happening right now if, you know, we kind of had society as a norm. So it's a great time to slow the fuck down. Mm-hmm. Do some inspection, self-inspection, self-reflection. And again, you know, take the opportunity, like Jeremy said, get close to your family, get close to your friend. We're a little too close here right now. We actually, we're plenty of that.
You're a family of 4 or 5, eh? So yeah.
But you know, in all seriousness, it has been a little bit better. We haven't been running around as much. We haven't been, I miss Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but I don't miss all the running around. I miss, like, you know, the community, but I enjoy some of the extra different things that we're doing here as a family and spending some time with each other. And look, man, you got to make the best of where you're at. And I think that's another big thing is you control what you can control. That's your thoughts, your emotions, and your reactions to what's going on. And
I think every single person individually has that same control.
Yes.
So if you and you and you and yes, you in the back there, if you all just control what's inside your head, this all goes away.
Well, that's the hardest thing for people to do. And I think that's the biggest struggle now is we're going to force you to be quarantined in your house and we're running out of things to do. Oh my God, what do I do now? Instead of sitting there in your own thoughts. And that I'm telling you, it's extremely hard. It's hard for me. I mean,
I think that you should explain, like, kind of like, I think we should each kind of explain what you mean by controlling your thoughts, right? Adam, I mean, I'd love to hear kind of what your insight is into that. And Jeremy too, because controlling your thoughts isn't necessarily like, you know, putting them in quarantine, and having them sitting there in a cell, because that's almost impossible, right? But we can control. Let's say that we have this thought that we're going through this thing, and we can decide, you know, whether or not that's a good or a bad thing, and that's our decision to make. What is your thought process on controlling your thoughts? What's that look like to you?
To me, it's okay. So to me, it's simple, but it took me decades of insane work to make it simple. But I can explain it. You don't have thoughts. You experience them. So when the world is on a pandemic, when the world is on an epidemic, when the world is in a low vibrating state of chaos, which it currently is, you are susceptible to the chaotic thoughts. If you turned off the television right now, anyone that's in full-blown panic about life, and you slapped on a VR helmet and you just watched it, you just watched VR, your most favorite thing in the entire world, whatever it was, and you just kept watching it, and you just ignored that you saw this, then eventually you would be programmed by that VR, because you would succumb to that frequency. Also, we are trained from birth, and this is the major deception. We are trained from birth to beat ourselves up. We are trained from birth to be very hard on ourselves. We are trained from birth. No, I mean, if you think about what your parents said to you and what you've said to your kids, you immediately, no matter what the child is doing, you're like, no, don't touch that. Don't put that in your mouth. don't go near that. That's sharp. Stay away. Sit down. No. And the parent's just trying to protect you, but the parent doesn't know any better. So inside of you right away, it's no. So you already think, without even putting too much effort into it, that you are less than, that you subconsciously believe that you're less than. So when it comes to this frequency and where we are in the world, the news is on and people are talking and people are saying things and people are explaining their versions of this, and it's all glorified fear porn, Simpsons, giant penises, and it is a bloody mess. And you're watching this and you're taking this in and you're like, fuck, what is going on? And then you're thinking to yourself, I'm a piece of shit. And then you're thinking to yourself, all the worst things are going to happen to you. And then there's that hero that's out there with his sarcasm going, I don't think that crap about myself. You absolutely do. You sarcastic people, and I know because I used to be the king of sarcasm, you guys are the worst. You have it the worst. You guys are kicking your own ass 100%, and you're hiding your own emotions from the rest of the world. And with your sarcasm, you're hiding them from yourself. So you're creating your own pile of fear and worry and scarcity inside your own head. When the reality is, the only thing that's changed is the television program you watched and how it affected the world. So now we have way more free time. We have way more of this. We have way more of that. We have the ability to stockpile. We have the ability to take care of ourselves in any way, shape, or form that we want to. We are safe inside our houses, right? Whatever's going to come, like every single storm, Maya Angelou says, every single storm eventually runs out of rain. This too will run out of rain. This won't become the norm. And if it does become the norm, I'll just unplug and leave. We all have the opportunity to just unplug and leave. But because we're naturally thinking of the worst case scenario, we're naturally thinking of 1984, we're naturally thinking of all the war movies we've seen, we're naturally thinking of Terminator 2, we're naturally thinking of a government, of a this, of a that, of a freedom, of a thing I think I want. We're naturally thinking of all this stuff, when at the end of the day, we've been brainwashed and succumbed and beat down by our government, by the people around us, by the news, by whatever the hell it is we're watching and taking in, to accept a negative turnabout. This is a positive turnabout. So for you to tap into your positive frequency, all you really have to do is connect with the positive frequency, not the negative one, which you're tapped into. Because again, you're not having thoughts, you're experiencing them.
Okay, JT.
Well, let me ask you guys, I mean, and I ask myself this quite often, and I ask this to everybody listening and even watching this, but it sounds so simple. When was the last time that you actually, like, let's just say 1 PM, away from everybody, just sat down and did nothing? And I asked that question. Well, hey, I do that, or I do it before I go to bed. Then you fall asleep, but nothing really gets accomplished. What I mean by that, when I think about that, and when I really work hard on myself to do, is I like to sit. At least, I try and do it as much as I can. I'd say every other day, and I sit and do literally nothing. And why that is so powerful to me, and I think this is what we could all learn from, is because all of the answers that I need are already in my head. If I don't spend time with myself, working in my own way through these problems, should I be fearful? Let me actually think about this. Let me think about the consequences. Let me think about where I am. Let me think about what's going on in my life. But we don't do that. What we do when we think about it, we're constantly looking for the answers. I say it all the time to the salespeople I work with. You actually need to listen. You know, you can't already think of your answer before the other person gets done talking. And we do that to ourselves as well. We think we have the questions, but where we get those is by scrolling through our social media or watching the news, and that fills the blanks with the memories that we should be able to figure out ourselves.
Yes.
When I started doing this, and it's maybe been 6-8 months. It's not that long. And I just sat there and just thought, and let my thoughts go wherever they want to go. If it wants to go to my job, cool. If it wants to go to my kids, cool. Wherever that wants to go. But I'm telling you, when you're done just thinking about things for even 30 minutes, and that's 30 effing minutes. Mm-hmm. And we can watch TikTok videos for 30 minutes, and it feels like 5. 30 minutes by yourself, I promise you will come out just with maybe no answers, but you just feel better about the situation. And then when things come at you that don't make any sense, and still, instead of filling those holes when your quote unquote answers are supposed to be, they're already filled by your thoughts and what you truly believe as an individual. That makes you a stronger person. But without that time, you're going to get filled with a bunch of bullshit that you don't know what's right and what's wrong. So I would just encourage everybody listening and watching, spend time with yourself. 30 minutes.
For sure.
It'll change your life.
And ladies and gentlemen, too, Jeremy does a lot of videos. So he's not just an audio speaker. He does a lot of videos and podcasts. But I got to tell you, the entire time he was giving that speech, he was staring directly into the camera. He wasn't looking at the screen. He was looking into my soul. So I felt that. I felt that for sure.
State. What about you, Brandon? Let me hear a little bit more from you.
I agree. And Jeremy, I love what you're talking about there. I've got some regurgitation for you on that, though.
I want to say one thing quick, and I don't mean to cut you off. We are at the 43-minute mark, and I don't know if this thing is just going to cut out on record.
No, I saw that. I had something that come across on my screen that said that this was going to go on with unlimited minutes.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't get that. That's awesome.
It might be built in now just because of Zoom. So
maybe it's the white hacks. Maybe
white hacks. So
it's true. That's a possibility because you hear people have been saying this stuff, right? And Zoom's like,
absolutely.
You see that Zoom stock went through the freaking roof.
Well, it makes
because
sense,
of
right?
this
White
whole
hacks.
thing. So yeah. So if we got unlimited, that's it, guys. We're going for 3 hours. Never mind Jeremy's kids. It's all good.
So
good.
You're definitely familiar with the fact of I think I might have actually sent you the book, right? Are You Ready to Succeed?
Mm-hmm.
In that book, one of the exercises is to do exactly that. It's to find a space, turn off everything, turn off your whatever, your phone, your computer, nothing but yourself, and you sit for a half hour. And one of the big points of that is if you can't control and do what you want for 30 minutes out of the day, how much of your life is your own?
Wow.
Right?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty powerful. And I mean, I struggle. I certainly struggle sometimes to find a half hour of an entire day to not, check social media, to not check my emails, to not check on my family, to do nothing except for something by myself. And, so how much of my life am I really in control of? That's just the exterior, right? And I talk a little bit about, it's not necessarily that you control your thoughts. It's that they talk about the witness, right? You're the witness of your thoughts. And in doing that, you get the opportunity to kind of step back and watch, what is it? The watcher, the known, all those things, right? Paying attention to your thoughts, seeing them, but don't be impacted by them, right? Or hey, these are the thoughts I'm thinking. And is that thought serving me? How's that thought beneficial to me? What is that thought doing for me? And making a conscious decision to continue with that thought process, right? And I think it's also very similar to what Adam says. We receive these thoughts, right? You ever stop and say, where do these thoughts come from? Because you ever tried to stop thinking totally? Right? You ever try, like, your tinfoil hat man then, right? Your tinfoil hat man then is just like you just stop all the thoughts from coming in, but you can't. So where are they coming from?
Apparently, if you put a tinfoil hat on, you can. That's the truth. They say that. I don't know. I've never worn a tinfoil hat.
Well, hey, we'll expect a report back from you next week, Adam.
Next week, I'll have the hat on. It'll be awesome.
Yeah. But it's that's my thought process. You can't really control it, but you can control your thoughts. But you can control how you react to them, how you respond to them, right? Like, and I love the other exercise too. Is like, is this a thought or is this an emotion? Right? Are these thoughts or are these feelings? And being able to determine and separate the two, and seeing how you react to either or. Is it your thoughts that precede your feelings, or is it your feelings that precede your thoughts?
Without letting your ego get in the way, because your ego's going to jump right on you no matter what. So it's as long as you don't let your ego get in the way for thought or feeling, because your ego is going to tell you you're right, or fear this, or whatever the case is. But you can decipher what a thought truly is and what a feeling is. Man, it makes you unstoppable, doesn't it? Yeah. That's hard to do.
It's great.
Your ego too is he's quick to judge. If you like, unless your ego gets in the way, and then your ego is so quick to judge. He's like, I'm not your ego. I'm here to stop this, but I'm not your ego. Don't pay attention to me.
Removing judgment is super awesome too, right? And I think I first had the experience of removing judgment just from myself and my thoughts, removing judgment of thoughts with Headspace. It was like, all right, have your thoughts, have your feelings, but don't judge them, right? Just have them. What are they? And when you can do that without judgment and you just recognize them for either or, right? And if you can recognize even the situations that you're in as just simply the situations that you're in without calling them good or bad, because you don't know what 3 months down the road looks like. So for people that are in, today, what looks like a currently shitty situation, you can't work, you don't know where the next paycheck's going to come from, all kinds of shit's breaking down today, but you don't know what tomorrow's going to bring, so.
And that's where the ego plays as well. I've been in that situation where you're like, I don't know where I'm going to get my next meal, right? But you always end up getting that next meal. You may go hungry, you may go this, you may go that, because we will. There's no one moment where you're like, life's great. Holy shit, I'm broke. It doesn't go like that, right? There are a lot of decisions that take place. There are a lot of things that take place in life that lead you down a bullshit path. The compound effect, Darren J. Hardy.
For sure.
So when people are like, oh, wow, I'm desolate now after 3 weeks of not working, this is an awakening. This is like, I'll never let this happen to myself again. This is a huge thing. This is an opportunity to learn, grow, and become.
Right.
So people will say, you don't know what it's like. I have nothing, right? There are so many people out there looking for handouts, and none of these people are willing to change, because you can take a lot of people.
Are they looking for them, or have they been programmed to receive them?
Well, okay. Now you're talking a different thing. This is where that gets sketchy. That $82 billion we touched on at the beginning of the podcast is weird, because all of a sudden, socialism's cool. Are we communists again? Because now we're all dependent on the government. The government's going to take care of all of us. But that, to me, honestly, guys, we could talk about an entire episode after that. Now, here's the thing too. We are in control. We have the ability to control. The ego will say, that's not what I want. And then you'll be like, well, it's not what I want either. So I'm on your side with this. And now life sucks. Right. But every single thing that we do want or don't want is an opportunity to learn or grow. I do know I don't want Jeremy to go, but I know he's got to go. So we should probably tie this in, because it's been about an hour, or it's been 45 minutes, I guess, but that's okay. And guys, we started this, and we talk about what other people are doing and other people are talking about and thinking, saying, and doing. We started this over a year ago, and this is episode 6, technically.
Has it been over a year?
Crushing it.
April Fools.
Yeah. So here we are in episode 6 of this, and it isn't what it used to be, because all of us have grown so much since then. But certainly this is a beautiful simulcast, right? This is a beautiful simulcast of everybody, every single one of us, every single one of our audience got a piece of something from us in here.
Absolutely. It's perfect.
And, I have so much respect for both of you. So I honestly believe that, I'm saying I want my 100th episode to be you guys again. So I could say in 15 more episodes for me, you guys are coming back.
So we'll have episode 7 by then.
That'll be episode 7. Yeah. Exactly. But I mean, we can't contribute to everything at all times. And we can't control everything at all times in outside world. So it is a nice opportunity when you're working with multiple people to be able to collect and to connect. And I think that I've said this 1,000 times, this is how we always end this show. I think that we should all get together again, and we're all growing. And I'm putting my foot in the sand right now, if that's how people put their feet. I don't know.
Sounds good.
Episode 50 or episode 100 for me. The 100th episode of the Mental Mastery Alliance will be
awesome
with Brandon and Jeremy, of course.
100%.
And you guys, we can do a sign off right now so Jeremy can get going.
For sure.
And we'll have you guys back. But fucking awesome. Just awesome. Just right on. Rock and roll.
Hey, man, let me tell you my sign off real quick.
Do
It's going to be so easy. It's just peace, love, and patience. That's all we need today. That's all we need going forward. And if we can take it day by day, when we wake up, I want to have a great day. I want to be peaceful. I don't want to see anybody hurt, anybody sick. It's going to be good. I can have patience with people that are flipping out, that are just out of control in the end of the world. Hey, I get it. I'll have patience with you. And if you're one of those people, have patience with me. And I don't remember the last one, but whatever. Those two sounded pretty good.
Well, listen, when somebody tells you that the sky is falling, and you try to be like, oh, no, it's not, bro. But it is for them, right? And that's the thing.
Yeah. You're arguing with someone that doesn't need to be argued with. They just want to be heard. And hey, I hear you. I get it.
Yeah.
Totally cool. But much love for everybody.
Yeah, agreed.
Great seeing you, Jeremy.
Yeah, you
Always
too,
a
man.
blast, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going
see
to do
you,
my
Adam.
sign off.
Doing it.
So mine's very simple.
I thought we were gonna hang out.
Yeah, well, we can hang out afterwards, but I still got to end the recording over here.
All right.
So, ladies and gentlemen, in the infamous words of Red Green, keep your stick on the ice.